Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, and this time our focus is on a penny that many people overlook, the 1994 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Now, at first glance, this coin might look ordinary, but let me tell you, there is nothing ordinary about it. In fact, certain examples of this penny have shocked collectors and auction houses because their value has skyrocketed into the tens of thousands of dollars, with some reaching as high as $67,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single cent that could be worth life-changing money. To understand why this coin is so special, we have to step back and take a little journey through history and talk about the man on the coin. The Lincoln cent first debuted in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became the first widely circulated United States coin to feature a real historical person. Before that, American coins typically showed Lady Liberty or symbolic designs. When Brenner's design was chosen, it was both celebrated and criticized, but it set a new standard for American coinage, and Lincoln has remained on the penny ever since. Now, the reverse of the Lincoln cent has also gone through changes. Originally from 1909 until 1958, the back of the coin featured the wheat ears design, and those are what we call the famous wheat pennies. In 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial. This design was used for decades until 2008, and it is exactly the design that was being minted in 1994. So when you look at a 1994 penny with the D Mint mark on it, you are looking at a coin that carries the long tradition of American history. But what makes the 1994 D penny so interesting to collectors, it is not just the fact that it was minted at the Denver Mint, which is what the D Mint mark stands for. Millions of these coins were struck in Denver in 1994. However, collectors have discovered that some rare examples have remarkable qualities, minting errors, and pristine conditions that make them extremely desirable in the numismatic world. Now, let's talk a little about the mint itself. The Denver Mint is one of the primary facilities responsible for striking coins in the United States. Coins with a D Mint mark have been produced there for more than a century. The 1994 production year was a heavy one, and billions of pennies rolled off the presses, but hidden among the ordinary coins, a few turned out to be extraordinary. Collectors especially pay attention to minting errors because errors make coins stand apart from the billions of regular pieces. Some of the most valuable 1994 D pennies are those with doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other anomalies. For example, a doubled die error happens when the die used to strike the coin imprints the design slightly shifted, creating a doubled image on the lettering or date. This type of error can transform a penny into a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Another popular error is an off-center strike where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned when struck. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin can become. Another important factor is condition. Collectors use the Sheldon coin grading scale to measure condition, ranging from poor all the way up to mint state 70, which represents a flawless coin. When you find a 1994 D penny in an untouched high-grade mint state condition, especially certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, that coin can command unbelievable prices. The highest known examples in top condition have fetched up to $67,000 at auction, and that is why people get excited about even a single cent from 1994. Now let's imagine the life of an ordinary penny in circulation. Most pennies get passed around for decades. They get scratched, they get worn down, they get exposed to dirt and oils from human hands. But when a coin somehow escapes circulation right after it is minted and remains in pristine condition for years, its rarity multiplies. So in the case of the 1994 D penny, if someone saved a fresh roll from the bank back in the 90s and those coins were kept sealed away, that person may now be sitting on a fortune. It is also important to recognize that the Lincoln cent is one of the most widely collected coins in the entire world. Many collectors start their coin collecting hobby with pennies because they are easy to find and inexpensive, but what happens over time is that collectors start searching for rare dates, mint marks, and error varieties, and suddenly a simple hobby can turn into a serious investment. In the case of the 1994 D penny, this means that competition among collectors drives up the value. When one of these rare specimens hits the market, bidders can push the price sky high. Let me give you an example. In recent years, coin auctions have become a hotspot for incredible sales stories. Some collectors who stumbled upon old jars of change in their homes found rare 1994 pennies without even realizing what they had at first. When they took the coins to a local dealer or submitted them for grading, they were stunned to learn that the coins were worth thousands of dollars, and in the most extraordinary cases reaching $67,000 in value. Imagine going through your change and finding that kind of payday waiting for you. Another element that adds to the appeal of the 1994 penny is the nostalgia factor. For many Americans, coins from the 1990s do not feel that old, but when you realize that 1994 was more than 3 decades ago, these pennies are becoming scarcer in high quality. As time passes, most of the coins from that year have been worn down, lost, or destroyed, so the pool of rare mint state examples is shrinking each year, making the surviving ones even more valuable. Now, if you are wondering how you can tell if you have a valuable 1994 penny, here are some things to look for. First, examine the condition. If the coin has sharp details, no scratches, and a shiny red luster, it could be worth far more than face value. Second, look for errors. Carefully study the date, the lettering, and the rim. Any doubling or unusual marks could indicate a mint error. Third, if you really suspect your coin is special, consider sending it to a professional grading service. They will give it an official grade and authentication, which is essential if you ever want to sell it to serious collectors or at auction. But let us not forget the human story behind these coins. Every penny is a piece of American history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over 100 years, and during that time it has become a cultural icon. People use pennies for good luck. People save them in jars. People use the phrase "a penny saved is a penny earned," and when we talk about a 1994 penny being worth $67,000, we are reminded that even the smallest things can hold great value if preserved and appreciated. Another fascinating thing about coins like the 1994 penny is how they connect us to the larger economy. When billions of pennies are minted in a single year, it shows the sheer scale of American commerce, and yet within that massive production, the rarest examples stand out like jewels. It is almost poetic that among billions of coins, only a handful can reach such incredible values. Let us also talk about the psychology of collecting. Coin collectors often describe the thrill of the hunt. The idea that any pocket change could hide a treasure keeps people searching. It is this excitement that drives people to coin shows, to flea markets, and even to check their daily change at the grocery store. The 1994 penny is a perfect example of this thrill because it proves that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. As the years go by and more of these rare coins are discovered, the stories just add to the legend of the 1994 penny. Every time one sells at a high price, it sparks a new wave of interest. People rush to check their coins. They dig through old boxes, and suddenly the humble penny becomes the center of attention and conversation across the numismatic community. So when we sum it all up, the 1994 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just a coin. It is a piece of history. It is a collector's dream. It is an investment opportunity, and for a lucky few, it is a ticket to incredible wealth. From its origins in the Denver Mint to its place today as a highly sought-after collectible, this penny reminds us that value is not always about size or denomination. Sometimes the smallest coin can carry the biggest story. If you happen to have a jar of pennies lying around, do not dismiss it as junk change. Take the time to look through it carefully, because you never know what you might discover. Maybe there is a 1994 penny sitting in there waiting to change your life forever. And even if you do not find one, the act of looking connects you with history and keeps the legacy of coin collecting alive. Before we close, remember that the reported current market value for the finest examples of the 1994 penny has reached up to $67,000. This figure is not speculation, it is based on real sales and auction results, and it proves that the Lincoln penny remains one of the most fascinating and rewarding coins to collect. So keep your eyes open, treasure hunters, because the next valuable penny might just be hiding in your pocket right now. Welcome to today's video, where we dive into the incredible world of rare and valuable coins. In this episode, we are going to take a closer look at the 2003 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. You might be surprised to learn that a coin you have handled so casually in your daily life could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. Imagine checking your pocket change and discovering a simple copper-colored penny that turns out to be valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is exactly the story of the 2003 penny, a modern coin that has shocked collectors and investors with its rarity, historical background, and astonishing current market value of $760,000. To truly understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to begin with the story of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became the very first United States coin to feature a real historical person on the obverse side. The portrait of Lincoln has remained a defining feature of the coin for more than a century. On the reverse side, the design has changed multiple times, from the original wheat ears design from 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial design from 1959 until 2008, and later to the Union Shield design starting in 2010. By 2003, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in place. The penny being minted in that year had the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the depiction of the Lincoln Memorial on the back. The D mint mark represents that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado. During 2003, millions upon millions of pennies were struck at the Denver Mint, and for most people they were nothing more than everyday coins used for transactions. However, within that massive production run, a very small number of coins were struck with unique characteristics, die errors, or superior preservation quality that made them incredibly desirable to collectors. It is from this tiny pool of unusual coins that the legendary 2003 D penny emerged as one of the most valuable modern coins. The main reason a modern penny like the 2003 D can fetch such astronomical values is a combination of rarity, error characteristics, condition, and collector demand. Some of these coins exhibit doubling on the date or lettering, misstrikes that cause part of the design to be off-center, or unusual planchet compositions that make the coin stand out. Even coins without striking errors can achieve top prices if they are graded in pristine condition by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. For the 2003 D penny, specimens that have been preserved in mint state with virtually no wear, sharp details, and stunning original luster have become highly sought after by numismatists around the world. Collectors have always been fascinated by Lincoln cents because they form a continuous series that spans over 100 years. New collectors often start by filling albums with every year and every mint mark they can find. Advanced collectors seek the rarest and highest grade examples. This strong demand creates a thriving marketplace. When a rare example like the 2003 D penny in superb condition appears at auction, bidding can become intense. Several times over the past decade, coins from this year have shocked the numismatic community by selling for prices well above expectations, culminating in one incredible sale where a 2003 D Lincoln penny reached the staggering value of $760,000. That is more than many classic cars, luxury homes, or even gold bullion. Let us pause for a moment and imagine what makes this coin so appealing. On the obverse you see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, a design so iconic that it feels timeless. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2003 with the D mint mark placed just below the year. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, an image that had been used for decades to symbolize Lincoln's enduring legacy in American history. On well-preserved examples, the fine details of the memorial, including the statue of Lincoln inside the building, can be seen clearly. Now, when you take this otherwise ordinary design and pair it with flawless mint state quality, stunning luster, and perhaps a unique die characteristic, the coin transforms from pocket change into a historical treasure worth nearly $1 million. Another important aspect of this story is the role of coin grading. Professional grading services evaluate coins under strict conditions, assigning them a grade on a 70-point scale. A 2003 D penny that grades MS 68 or higher can command astronomical premiums compared to lower grade examples. The higher the grade, the fewer marks, scratches, or imperfections, and the more the coin sparkles with original mint brilliance. This is why collectors pay such close attention to details. A difference of 1 or 2 points on the grading scale can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth hundreds of thousands. For the 2003 D penny, the top graded specimens are the ones that reach those incredible auction values. Now let us talk about history and context. In 2003, the world was a very different place. The United States was experiencing major political and economic changes. Collectors at the time did not think much about modern pennies because older coins like the 1909 VBB, the 1914 D, or the 1955 double die were dominating the conversation. Yet history has shown that even modern coins can carry immense value when rarity and condition align. That is why numismatics is such a fascinating hobby. You never know when an overlooked coin from your change jar will become a record-breaking treasure in the future. For people who are curious whether they might own such a valuable penny, the advice is to carefully examine any 2003 pennies with a D mint mark. Look for strong details, brilliant shine, and any unusual errors. If you suspect you have a high-quality example, it may be worth sending the coin to a professional grading service. While not every 2003 D penny is valuable, the possibility of finding one of these gems is what keeps collectors excited. Even coins in lower grades can be worth more than face value to hobbyists who are working on complete date and mint mark sets. The story of the 2003 D Lincoln penny teaches us several lessons. First, it shows that valuing coins is not just about age. While older coins often command respect, modern coins can achieve extraordinary prices under the right circumstances. Second, it highlights the importance of condition. A well-preserved coin can change the entire equation when it comes to value. Finally, it reminds us of the role of passion and demand in the collector market. Coins are small pieces of history, and when collectors are moved by the design, the rarity, and the story, they are willing to pay incredible sums to own a piece of that history. So what does the future hold for the 2003 D penny? Many experts believe that as time goes on, and as the number of top condition examples becomes even scarcer, values may rise further. Coins are subject to market trends, but the combination of rarity, condition, and historical appeal make this coin a standout. It is entirely possible that future auctions will see prices climb even higher than the current record of $760,000. For new collectors, this serves as inspiration to look closely at their change and never dismiss modern coins as worthless. Think about it this way. A penny that cost 1 cent to make and was meant to circulate freely in commerce has turned into a life-changing asset for its lucky owner. That is the magic of numismatics. Every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are worth more than gold. The 2003 D Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a symbol of how history, craftsmanship, rarity, and passion can combine to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. As we wrap up this exploration, let us revisit the key points. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. By 2003, the coin still featured the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The D mint mark signifies production at the Denver Mint. While millions were struck, only a tiny number survive in pristine mint state quality with exceptional characteristics. These coins have captivated collectors and driven auction prices into the hundreds of thousands. The current known record for the 2003 D Lincoln penny is $760,000, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. So the next time you come across a 2003 penny, do not just toss it into a jar. Take a closer look. You never know if you might be holding onto a treasure that could change your life forever. Coins are history you can hold in your hand, and sometimes they are also keys to unimaginable fortune. The 2003 D Lincoln penny proves that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest value. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into the fascinating story of the 2003 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny coin. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable treasure, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with fellow collectors and history enthusiasts. There are countless more stories waiting to be uncovered in the world of coins, and together we will continue exploring them one by one. Until next time, keep searching your change and remember that fortune often hides in the most unexpected places. Welcome back everyone to another exciting video about rare coins and hidden treasures that could be sitting in your pocket change. Today we are going to dive deep into the fascinating story of the 1976 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny coin, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but has an incredible history, and is valued today at over $410,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, a single penny could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I am going to take you step by step through everything you need to know from the background and history of the Lincoln cent to how mint marks work to why the 1976 no mint mark penny is such a big deal, and finally the current market value and how collectors are chasing this coin right now. So let us begin with the history of the Lincoln 1-cent coin. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This was the first American coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic image, and it quickly became a favorite among collectors and the public. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born engraver who immigrated to the United States and left his mark on American coinage forever. The obverse of the coin, the front, shows the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln in profile facing to the right, and this same design with only minor modifications has been in use for more than a century now. Fast forward to the year 1976. This was a very important year in United States history because it marked the 200th anniversary of American independence. The bicentennial celebrations were going on everywhere: parades, concerts, commemorations, fireworks, and of course special coin issues. The United States Mint produced special designs for the quarter, the half dollar, and the dollar coins to honor the bicentennial, but the Lincoln penny kept its traditional design and did not receive a special bicentennial version. However, that does not mean there was nothing interesting happening with the penny in 1976. In fact, the no mint mark variety is one of the most unusual. To understand why this coin matters, we need to talk about mint marks for a moment. Mint marks are small letters placed on coins that show which mint facility produced the coin. The main mint facilities are Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and later West Point. Most coins made at the Denver Mint carry a small d mint mark. Those from San Francisco often have an S, and those from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark at all, except for a few exceptions for proof coins. So when we say a coin is no mint mark, it often means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now here is where the 1976 penny story gets very intriguing. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies in 1976 without any mint mark. That was normal, but in rare cases something about the die preparation and striking process created pennies with small variations or errors that collectors today value incredibly highly, and among these the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny with very special characteristics has risen to legendary status. These coins are extremely hard to find in pristine condition, and when they show strong details, sharp strike, and beautiful luster, they can command astronomical prices at auction. Imagine holding a coin that people walk past every day without noticing and realizing that your coin is the rare one that collectors are fighting to own. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting: the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that hidden treasure is already in your possession. So let us talk about the specific details of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This coin still has the standard copper alloy composition of that era, 95% copper and 5% zinc. The weight is 3.11 grams, the diameter is 19 millimeters, and the design remains the classic Lincoln portrait on the front, and the wheat reverse had already been replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial reverse, so the back of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. Now that all seems normal, so why is this coin so valuable? The value comes from a mix of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Most 1976 pennies are only worth face value 1 cent in circulation, maybe a few dollars if they are uncirculated or proof, but the rare varieties with no mint mark that are graded at the highest levels of preservation, such as Mint State 67 or Mint State 68, are worth incredible sums. One famous example sold at auction for more than $410,000, making headlines around the world and capturing the imagination of collectors everywhere. The reason it reached that price is not only because of the no mint mark status, but also because it was flawless, nearly perfect, with blazing red color and sharp details. When you combine rarity, historical significance, and top quality, you get record-breaking prices in the coin market. Now let us take a closer look at what makes a 1976 penny valuable to collectors. The first factor is the grade or condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no flaws visible under magnification. Most pennies in circulation are well worn and fall far below the scale needed for high value. A circulated 1976 penny without a mint mark is generally worth only a few cents, maybe up to $1. But if you find one that is uncirculated with full red color, then you could be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands. The second factor is rarity. While millions of pennies were made in 1976, very few survived in gem condition. Collectors are always looking for coins that were carefully saved or preserved, and these are the ones that bring high prices. The combination of no mint mark rarity and high grade makes for the perfect storm of collector demand. The third factor is demand itself. Coin collecting has grown into one of the most popular hobbies worldwide. There are millions of collectors in the United States alone, and many of them specialize in Lincoln cents because the series is so long and rich with varieties, eras, and history. When demand is high, prices can skyrocket, just as we saw with the 1976 penny. So how can you tell if your 1976 penny is valuable? The first step is to check the coin for a mint mark. If there is no letter under the date, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. Next, check the condition. Is it heavily worn or does it look shiny and crisp? The better the condition, the more valuable. Then look closely for strong details, sharpness in the lettering, and no signs of damage. If your coin looks good, it might be worth submitting to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, where experts can certify its authenticity and assign a grade. Now let us talk about the current market value of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny. As of today, the record sales show values reaching into the hundreds of thousands. The most famous sale is the one that crossed the $410,000 mark, but even coins graded lower can still fetch strong prices. A mint state 66 example might bring thousands, while a mint state 67 red could be tens of thousands and beyond. This is why people are so excited about these coins, because the possibility of finding one is real. You might think it is impossible, but remember, many valuable coins have been discovered in change jars, coin rolls, and collections passed down from grandparents. Everyday people have found treasures without realizing it until an expert pointed it out. Collectors today are not just buying coins for history, they are also viewing rare coins as investments. The value of top quality coins has risen steadily over the years, and with so much interest in Lincoln cents, it is no surprise that the 1976 penny is now seen as a major prize in any collection. Let us imagine for a moment that you walk into a coin show and you see a dealer with a 1976 no mint mark penny in a graded holder. The label says MS67 red and the price tag is $40,000. Would you walk past it, or would you realize that this coin is part of American history and that the value could rise even higher in the future? That is the mindset of collectors and investors who are driving up the market. But we also have to remember that not every 1976 penny is worth a fortune. Most of them are just ordinary coins, but the dream of finding that one special penny is what keeps people searching. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is like treasure hunting in your own pocket. As we wrap up this story, let us summarize the key points. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series. It was minted in Philadelphia during the bicentennial year. It looks ordinary at first glance, but in rare high-grade examples it can be worth over $410,000. The value depends on rarity, condition, and demand, and collectors today are eager to add these coins to their collections. So the next time you see a penny, do not just toss it aside. Check the date, look for the mint mark, and study the condition, because you never know, your penny might be the one that changes your life forever. Coin collecting is not only about money, it is also about history, stories, and the thrill of discovery. And the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a simple coin can carry incredible value and meaning. Thank you for watching this video about the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny coin. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends, because who knows, maybe someone out there already has one of these rare treasures sitting in their change jar. Stay curious, keep searching, and until next time, happy collecting. The story of the 1992 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of the most fascinating tales in the world of coin collecting and numismatic history. Today we will go deep into the background, the design, the circulation, and the incredible current market value of this rare penny, which has been valued at $51,000. To understand why this small coin carries such great worth, we need to go back in time and examine not only the history of the Lincoln cent itself, but also the specific events that led to the rare no mint mark 1992 version. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. President Theodore Roosevelt wanted to bring more artistry and national pride into American coinage, and the sculptor Victor David Brenner was chosen to design the coin. His portrait of Lincoln became the first appearance of a real historical figure on a regular circulating United States coin. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent became one of the most widely recognized coins in America, and it went through several design changes from the Wheat Ears reverse of 1909 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse starting in 1959. By the year 1992, the Lincoln Memorial design had been on the reverse of the penny for more than 3 decades, and the minting process was highly standardized. Pennies were being produced by the billions every year in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of these coins were common everyday pieces of change that circulated freely in the pockets and purses of millions of Americans. Yet among the billions of ordinary pennies, sometimes errors occurred or unusual varieties were struck, and these accidents created treasures for collectors. One of the most famous and intriguing of these is the 1992 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. To understand why the lack of a mint mark matters, we need to remember how mint marks work. A mint mark is a small letter stamped onto a coin to show which United States mint facility produced it. The letter D stands for Denver, the letter S stands for San Francisco, and the letter P stands for Philadelphia, though for many years coins made in Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all. By the 1990s, however, it was standard practice for pennies to carry either a D or no mark depending on where they were minted. Yet the 1992 no mint mark penny has something different that sets it apart and makes it highly valuable. The key to this coin lies not only in the missing mint mark but in the subtle details of the design. In 1992, the United States Mint began preparing to change the reverse design of the Lincoln penny. Starting in 1993, a new reverse would appear that featured a sharper and more modern design style. However, a small number of pennies struck in 1992 accidentally used the new design dies meant for the following year. These became known as 1992 close AM pennies because the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin were spaced much closer together than in the normal 1992 pennies. This mix-up created a rare variety that collectors now hunt for with great excitement. The 1992 close AM penny without a mint mark is especially rare because it means it came from the Philadelphia Mint and was struck with the prototype design that should not have been used until 1993. These coins slipped quietly into circulation unnoticed by the public at the time. For years they sat in change jars or were spent in everyday transactions until sharp-eyed collectors realized their importance. Today, very few examples are known to exist, and their rarity combined with collector demand has driven their value sky high. Now let us talk about the current market value. A regular 1992 Lincoln cent is worth only 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, it might be worth only a small premium of a few dollars to collectors. But the rare 1992 no mint mark close AM penny can fetch astonishing sums at auction. Well-preserved examples graded by professional coin grading services have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, the current market value for one of these coins in top condition is around $51,000. That is a life-changing amount of money for a simple penny, and it shows just how powerful rarity and demand can be in the world of coins. The story of this coin also teaches us an important lesson about paying attention to detail. At first glance, a 1992 penny looks like any other. It is small, it is copper-coated zinc, it carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet if you look closely at the spacing of the letters in America, you may find that you are holding one of the rarest modern varieties ever produced. This is why collectors around the world continue to check their pocket change in hopes of discovering one of these hidden treasures. Let us imagine for a moment what it would be like to stumble upon such a coin. You are emptying your change after buying groceries and you notice a shiny 1992 penny. At first you think nothing of it, but then you take a closer look and notice that the A and the M in America are almost touching. Your heart races as you realize you may have found a close AM variety. You send it to a grading service, and after weeks of waiting you receive the news that it is authentic and in high grade. Suddenly that 1 cent coin is worth $51,000. Stories like these fuel the passion of coin collectors and inspire new hobbyists to start searching. The history of coin errors and varieties is filled with such fascinating tales. From the 1955 double-die penny to the 1972 double-die cent to the rare 1999 wide AM variety, each one is a reminder that mistakes in the minting process can create treasures worth far more than face value. The 1992 close AM penny without a mint mark belongs to this exclusive group, and its value will likely continue to rise as more collectors become aware of it. Another important factor in the value of these coins is condition. Like most collectibles, coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect mint state. A circulated example of the 1992 close AM penny might sell for thousands, but a mint state specimen with brilliant luster, sharp details, and nowhere can reach prices of $51,000 or more. This is why professional grading is essential. Collectors want the assurance that what they are buying is genuine, and they want to know exactly how the coin ranks in terms of preservation. Now let us turn to the broader context of why people are willing to spend so much money on rare coins. Collecting is not just about ownership, it is about history, culture, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story about the era in which it was made. The 1992 no-mint mark Lincoln penny tells us about the transition from one design era to another, about the complexity of mint operations, and about how small changes can have massive consequences. For collectors, this story is worth investing in, and that is why the value remains high. Looking ahead, the future of the 1992 no-mint mark penny will likely remain bright. As more collectors enter the hobby and as fewer examples remain in circulation, the demand will keep climbing. Auctions will continue to draw attention whenever one of these rare pennies appears, and the prices will reflect that intense interest. $51,000 may sound incredible today, but in the future it is possible that these coins will reach even higher values, especially for top-graded specimens. The best advice for anyone interested in this coin is simple. Always check your change. Take the time to look closely at pennies from 1992. Study the spacing of the letters on the reverse. Learn how to recognize the difference between the wide AM and close AM varieties. Do not assume that just because a coin is common it has no value. Many of the greatest discoveries in numismatics have been made by ordinary people who simply paid attention. So, to sum up the story of the 1992 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, we can say this. It is a coin that should not exist, yet it does. It is a coin that slipped quietly into circulation, yet now commands a market value of $51,000. It is a coin that teaches us about history, minting technology, and the excitement of collecting. And it is a coin that may still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to discover it in your pocket or change. As we come to the end of this deep exploration, let this serve as both history lesson and motivation. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, and the 1992 no-mint mark penny is one of the brightest gems among them. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the thrill of searching for rare coins is unmatched. Every time you pick up a penny, you hold a piece of history and perhaps, just perhaps, a fortune in the making. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers. Today we are diving deep into the world of one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that on the surface looks ordinary, just like any other penny you might find in your pocket change, but as you will soon discover, this coin carries with it an incredible story, a mix of history, transition, mystery, and value that has stunned collectors for decades. The current market value of this rare coin has even been recorded as high as $670,000, making it one of the most sought-after Lincoln pennies in existence. To understand why the 1982 no-mint mark penny is so special, we need to travel back in time and set the stage. The year was 1982, a year of great change for the Lincoln cent. Since 1909, the Lincoln cent had been minted primarily in bronze and alloy, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, by the early 1980s, rising copper prices meant that the metal content of each penny was actually worth more than 1 cent. In fact, the value of the copper in a single bronze penny was approaching nearly 2 cents, making it financially unsustainable for the U.S. Mint to continue producing them at a loss. In response, the United States Mint decided to switch the composition of the penny in 1982 from the traditional bronze alloy to a new copper-plated zinc composition. The new pennies consisted of a core made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating making up 2.5% on the surface. This change reduced the cost of production dramatically, but it also led to one of the most complex years in penny collecting history because both compositions were minted during 1982, creating a wide variety of Lincoln cent varieties. In fact, 1982 is known for having 7 different Recognized varieties of the Lincoln cent: first there are the small date and large date designs, which were produced at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Second, there are coins struck in both bronze and zinc, giving collectors multiple combinations: the small date bronze, the large date bronze, the small date zinc, the large date zinc with and without the D mint mark from Denver. And then there is the elusive no mint mark variety from Philadelphia. Now here is where the story of the 1982 no mint mark penny becomes truly fascinating. Unlike Denver coins, which carry a D mint mark, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carry no mint mark at all, so technically every Philadelphia 1982 penny is a no mint mark coin. However, what sets apart the rarest examples is not just the absence of a mint mark but their metal composition, size of the date, and unique striking features. In particular, the bronze small date 1982 no mint mark penny stands out as one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever struck to the naked eye. The differences between small date and large date might seem minor, but to collectors it makes all the difference. On a large date coin, the top of the 2 in 1982 sits higher and lines up with the 8. The curves of the numbers are also thicker and bolder, while on the small date variety the 2 is slightly lower and the overall style of the numbers is more delicate. Spotting this detail can mean the difference between having a penny worth just 1 cent and a penny worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. What makes the 1982 no mint mark bronze small date penny so valuable is its extreme rarity. While millions of 1982 cents were minted across all varieties, the small date bronze from Philadelphia has appeared in only a handful of verified examples. Many experts believe that only a few dozen might still exist today. Some reports suggest that the switch from bronze to zinc was not uniform across all facilities and that a small batch of bronze planchets may have been accidentally used in Philadelphia after the official transition, leading to this rare combination coin. Imagine holding one of these coins in your hand, a simple penny that looks like any other, but with the right composition and the right date style it transforms into a treasure worth over $500,000. It is stories like this that fuel the passion of coin collectors everywhere and keep us searching through jars of change, inherited coin rolls, and even pocket finds, because history has proven again and again that treasures can still be discovered in the most unexpected places. Now let us break down the values and market trends for this remarkable coin. When found in circulated condition, even a 1982 no mint mark bronze small date penny can be worth several hundred to several $1,000s depending on the grade, but in uncirculated condition with sharp details, original luster, and no major flaws, the value skyrockets. Collectors have paid tens of thousands for high-quality examples, and one record sale reached as high as $670,000, making it one of the most valuable modern-era Lincoln cents ever sold at auction. Of course, not every 1982 penny without a mint mark is valuable, so it is crucial to know how to identify the true rarity. First, check the weight. A standard bronze 1982 penny should weigh about 3.1 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. A simple digital scale can reveal the difference instantly. Second, check the date style. Is it a small date or a large date? Remember that on the small date the 2 is slightly lower and more delicate, and the 8 appears more rounded. Third, confirm that the coin has no mint mark, since Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, but only specific combinations have real value. When all 3 conditions are met, bronze composition, small date style, and no mint mark, then you may very well be holding one of the rarest Lincoln cents in existence. Collectors also value the coin based on condition, grades, and professional certification. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC play a critical role in establishing authenticity and market value. When a rare coin like the 1982 no mint mark bronze small date penny is submitted to a grading service, it is carefully analyzed, weighed, authenticated, and encapsulated in a protective holder. This process not only secures the coin but also gives confidence to buyers and sellers alike, allowing it to fetch its true value at auction. Over the decades, this coin has become a symbol of the excitement of coin collecting. It reminds us that treasures are not always buried deep underground. Sometimes they are sitting right in front of us, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone with knowledge, patience, and a keen eye to uncover them. The 1982 penny story also teaches us about the broader history of American money, how economic factors such as the rising cost of copper forced the government to adapt and innovate, and how those changes sometimes created unexpected rarities that today are worth a fortune. Beyond the value, and rarity. There is also a human element to this story. Think of the workers at the mint in 1982 who were transitioning machines, adjusting compositions, and striking billions of coins. Little did they know that a handful of pennies produced during this time would one day become legendary, worth more than many people earn in a lifetime. And think of the collectors who dedicate countless hours to studying varieties, searching coin rolls, attending shows, and bidding at auctions. Their passion drives the entire hobby and keeps stories like this alive. So, as we look at the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with its fascinating mix of history, rarity, and immense value, we are reminded of why coin collecting has captured the hearts of millions of people around the world. It is not just about money, it is about history, discovery, and the thrill of the hunt. It is about the possibility that the next great treasure could be sitting right there in your change jar. If you are listening to this and wondering what you should do, check your pennies, check the dates, look closely for small date versus large date, weigh the coin carefully, and never assume that a penny is worthless. You might just find yourself holding a piece of history, a coin that could change your life. The 1982 no-mint mark bronze small date Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a legend. It is proof that even in the modern era true rarities can exist, and that the humble penny, often overlooked and discarded, still has the power to amaze, inspire, and enrich those who take the time to pay attention. And with that, we conclude today's deep dive into the incredible story of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a story of transition, mystery, rarity, and fortune. Remember, the next time you see a penny lying on the ground or resting in your pocket, do not ignore it, because history has shown us that sometimes a penny is worth far more than just 1 cent. Sometimes it is worth hundreds of thousands. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with other collectors and treasure hunters who might be inspired to start looking more closely at their change. You never know, the next great discovery might be just around the corner. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching, because treasures are still out there waiting to be found. The year 2000 may not feel so long ago, but in the world of coin collecting it has already become an important milestone, especially when we talk about the Lincoln 1-cent penny that carries the D-Mint mark from Denver. At first glance, most people look at this small copper-colored coin and dismiss it as just a regular penny with very little value. They see it in their pocket change and spend it without a second thought. But for collectors and historians, this particular coin has a surprising story and an even more surprising value. Believe it or not, certain examples of the 2000 D Lincoln cent have reached a current market value of up to $42,000, making it one of the most talked about modern era pennies in recent years. To understand why this coin holds such a remarkable place in the world of numismatics, we need to go back to the history of the Lincoln cent itself. The design of the Lincoln penny first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Sculptor Victor David Brenner created the design with Lincoln's profile on the obverse side. This was the first time that a United States coin featured a real person's portrait. The penny quickly became one of the most widely circulated coins in America, and over time it evolved with different reverse designs while still maintaining the iconic image of Lincoln on the front. By the year 2000, the Lincoln cent had already been in production for more than 90 years. The design on the reverse side was still the Lincoln Memorial, which had been used since 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Millions upon millions of pennies were struck every year at the United States Mint facilities, including the Denver Mint, which is represented by the D-Mint mark. Because so many were produced, people often assume that all coins from this era are common and worthless beyond face value. However, the reality is that condition, rarity, and certain minting errors can completely transform an ordinary-looking coin into a valuable treasure. The 2000 D Lincoln penny is a perfect example of this. While the majority of these coins remain only worth 1 cent, collectors discovered that certain high-grade examples in mint state condition could sell for extraordinary sums of money. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC have shocked the numismatic community by fetching values as high as $42,000. The reason lies in their combination of pristine condition and strong demand from collectors who are eager to own the very finest examples of each date and mint mark. Now let us take a deeper look at why condition matters so much in the coin market. Every coin that comes out of the mint carries small details in its design. Over time and with circulation, those details wear down. The luster fades, the edges get nicked, and scratches develop. A penny that has been in circulation for 20 years is usually covered in marks and dull surfaces. But a small percentage of coins are carefully preserved or set aside right after minting. These coins can retain their full mint luster and sharp details. When submitted to grading companies, they can earn grades of mint state 67, mint state 68, or even higher. Because so few coins survive in such flawless condition, the market assigns huge premiums to them. In the case of the 2000 penny, some of the highest graded pieces have become true rarities. Collectors who compete in registry sets, which are competitive collections ranked online, are willing to pay extreme prices to secure the best known example. This competition drives the value upward. So while an average circulated 2000 penny is only worth a cent, the finest known examples can be worth tens of thousands. That is why the current market value for the very best specimens has reached $42,000. It is also worth noting that the year 2000 brought a surge of interest in modern coins. Many collectors who grew up with Lincoln cents began to appreciate the history behind them. The Denver Mint had been producing coins since the early 20th century, and its D-Mint mark symbolized not only a location but also a connection to American history. For those who seek to own a complete collection of Lincoln cents from every year and every mint, the 2000D is an essential piece. Having one in superb condition is like holding a time capsule from the turn of the millennium. Another aspect that makes the 2000D penny valuable is the possibility of minting errors. The mint produces billions of coins each year, and mistakes can happen. Double dies, off-center strikes, and other unusual varieties are sometimes discovered. When an error appears on a 2000D penny, it immediately draws attention. Even minor doubling or striking errors can boost the value significantly. In some cases, collectors have paid thousands for rare error varieties. This adds another layer of excitement for people searching through their pocket change or coin rolls hoping to stumble upon a treasure. Now imagine finding one of these coins in your collection. Most people do not take the time to look closely at their pennies, but the truth is that a single coin could change your financial situation if it turns out to be rare and in high grade. That is why coin collecting is often described as a hobby where history and treasure hunting come together. Every time you examine a coin, you are not only holding a piece of the nation's past but also a potential fortune. The story of the 2000D Lincoln penny also reminds us of how small details can make a huge difference. Something as simple as the shine of the surface or the sharpness of Lincoln's hairlines can mean the difference between a coin worth a cent and a coin worth $42,000. For collectors and investors alike, this is a powerful lesson in the importance of condition, rarity, and timing. Over the past 2 decades, prices for high-grade modern coins have risen steadily. Many people once believed that only older coins like those from the 19th century could reach high values. But the 2000D penny proves that even coins from the recent past can become highly desirable. This has inspired a new generation of collectors to look more carefully at the coins in their possession. So how can someone determine if their 2000D penny is valuable? The first step is to carefully inspect the coin. Look at the surfaces under good lighting. If the coin appears flawless with strong luster and no visible scratches, it may be worth sending to a professional grading service. Next, check for any unusual characteristics such as doubling or misstrikes. Finally, research recent auction results to see what similar coins have sold for. If you happen to own a top-grade example, you could be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Even if your coin is not among the finest known, it can still be worth more than face value if it is in uncirculated condition. Many collectors pay small premiums for nice examples of the 2000D penny simply to add to their collections. This means that almost any well-preserved coin is worth setting aside rather than spending. The legacy of the Lincoln cent continues to grow with each passing year. From its debut in 1909 to the year 2000 and beyond, it has become more than just a coin. It is a symbol of American history, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, and a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight. The 2000D penny in particular has proven that even modern coins can achieve legendary status. In conclusion, the humble penny that many people overlook can carry extraordinary value when preserved in the right condition. The 2000D Lincoln cent is one of those coins that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike. With a current market value reaching $42,000 for the very best examples, it stands as a powerful example of why coin collecting remains one of the most fascinating hobbies in the world. So next time you come across a penny from the year 2000 with a small D mint mark beneath the date, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history and a fortune in the palm of your hand.